this video I'm going to show you some stop motion tips and tricks that I've learned from doing it for a while. First, I'm just going to show you an example of a stop motion that I did. A big tip that I use for stop motion is to use smaller movements so that the stop motion will look smoother and less blocky. You see how I move her only a little bit each scene, but then I start to move her a little more here because in the middle she's moving a little faster, so she has bigger movements, but then she starts to slow down once she's ending that movement. This was just a time-lapse process of that other stop motion video. Another tip is when they need to hold an object, you can use like poster putty so their hand can actually stick to it. When dolls walk in stop motion, they should do it naturally like a person does, like bending their knees in the middle, like this one. I also added in walking sounds so that like when he stepped on the ground it would have foot sound steps. He has bulkier shoes on, so it's a little easier to make him stand. I tend to avoid trying to make them walk because it's really hard to do. I had to hold on to his head because dolls don't have very good balance and they can't really stand up on their own, so he would fall over. The next tips I have are about movement and the speed of the stop motion. It's usually best to have the speed all the way up to 30 frames per second, but use smaller movements so that they don't seem to be moving really fast. If you use large movements when the speed is all the way up, it's way too fast like this. You could barely even see it because it was so fast, but also you could tend to avoid large movements and the speed lower because it makes it look blocky. Like this. Now I just have some tips for the overall setup of the scene. Here I'm using a miniature set of Sasha's kitchen, and I always use the studio lights because they give it a nice bright lighting and the lighting doesn't change, and I also use a stand so that the phone will stay stationary. For most of my stop motions, I do them in one of my dioramas or like miniature rooms so that they can have like a realistic set, but sometimes I will do it in like a white space so that they can do something unique, I guess. Like in this stop motion that I did, she's just doing a dance. Most of my stop motions are in Kim's kitchen because she always does like baking videos, so I'll show you some snippets of some of those. Sometimes I add little graphic sticker effects just to add a little extra sparkle. I also use stickers sometimes to make it like baking effects, like the egg is going into the bowl or like a sugar cloud is going into the bowl. Sometimes I'll pause it on one frame, like when she picks up the cup, so that it doesn't look so fast. And the last tip is just about sound effects in stop motions. I added in little sounds like when she takes the crock pot lid off, or when she puts down things or turns on the water. And this was just a short process video for that clip. This was just a quick stop motion, like she was making something in the kitchen, just to show how the movement works and how I can add sound effects for more realism. Thank you for watching this stop motion tips video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell us what you thought and what kind of videos you want to see. Bye!
Icicle, what's wrong with you? Oh, Storm animated me!